Hey everybody, how's it going? Well, happy Monday. We're out here doing a little content. Thank you for joining me. On the table, we're doing a little, well, we got the door open. It's a beautiful day, letting in some sunshine. And you can hear the birds chirping. So, good times. No leaf blowers or maniac drivers blasting up the street, So far, so good. Keep our fingers crossed, because that can change. All right. So, as you can see, we're now doing our second part of our two-part series about the Cold Blast. Now, in the first part, we did all about the Dietz Blizzard and the different design features from the earliest to the more recent, which was 1917, still not that recent, but design-wise, it didn't change much from there to what we know as the Blizzard today, which is the number 80. Anyways, okay, so we're not going to go through every version of these lanterns. We're not going to go over each detail. I will point out certain things, but I wanted to talk about these guys and their role in lamp history. So the number 2 size cold blast lanterns were very popular in rural areas, especially because, well, they were bright. And before pressure lanterns came about in the very early 1900s, these were definitely less expensive, and they were very reliable lanterns. Now the squat globes came out, in the 1910s, more or less. And these guys, they have squat globes. That's what we call them when they're shorter and wider. So they look a little more potbelly, right? So the advantage of those was the wider mouth. So you could, remove the globe and you could fit your whole fist into that globe and clean it out really easy, really fast. Leaf blower. Anyways, so much for that. But yeah, these were a lot easier to clean, and that was the advantage, and also the sales angle that these companies offered with the squat globe lanterns, is because they were easier to clean. And most people had to clean their globes on a regular basis. After a night of burning, they would get kind of cloudy, maybe black, depending on how they burned their lantern. If they had their flames up higher, then they would get black really quick. Which they shouldn't be doing because they can crack their glass that way. But anyways, more or less, they did get cloudy. Kerosene was a little dirtier back in those days, and it would smoke up more than not. Also, they are just, definitely a more modern version of the tubular lantern by that point. This one is a Dietz top lift D-light. So lighting this thing, you'll flip that down and tilt it back, and there you go. Really? It's California. It's our native bird, the leaf blower. Anyways, it's a state bird. So that's the D-light. The top lift D-light eventually became, without the top lift, that only lasted for a handful of years. We have the Liberty, big old Liberty cold blast from early 1900s. Smaller fuel cap and everything. It's got the early details, and this thing is just, I finished restoring this not too long ago. This thing is awesome. It burns really well too. CT Ham number 2 cold blast. This thing is just awesome. Look at that thing. Just great detail. But all these lanterns, were very common to find out on farms for one reason or another, because they were easier to get, or they just ordered them from catalogs. Some people just bought what was available. And sometimes if you had in the early 1900s, you had cars. So Standard Oil, which we know today as Chevron, did sell lanterns through either catalogs or some of their stores, nearby a gas station or at a gas station. Or they had a few on hand to buy at the gas station. So this was the Rayo brand, which was made by Pritchard Strong Company at this point. So this one's Pritchard manufactured, but stamped Rayo. This is a number 77. So this is a great one. Then we have the Dietz number 2 Crescent, which was a little more attractive for the consumer because it was a Blizzard, but cheaper. It had no reinforced air tubes. It was pretty much a 1907, 1910 body of a Blizzard without the reinforcements, but rebranded as a number 2 Crescent because the reinforced air tubes were actually more expensive. They had created new dies for them, so they were charging more for those more modern lanterns. So this one with the smooth air tubes was definitely more of an economic choice. But still, bright lantern. Probably the brightest I own. Then we have the fancy one here, the Norley Diamond with the copper fount and crown. They also are available with brass or just steel. This one has a really cool stepped smoke bell and the curved top fount, which was a design, as well as the wood grip on the bale of the Shapley Norvell, or the Norvell Shapley Hardware Company of St. Louis, Missouri. And that was a design request by the company to Embry. Embry made these lanterns for their hardware chain. So, yeah, cool stuff, right? It's amazing. So, with my whole mission and goal with this two-part series was just to talk about the big cold blasts and where they fit into history and how they were used more or less. Some road constructions used them. They branded them with their company's name or the city name. It was not common, though. We see definitely those with the hot blast styles because they were more economical and cheaper to buy in large quantities. These were definitely higher priced lanterns. The bigger, the more money you spent. But that's here or there. But they're great to collect. They're a lot of fun and they burn great. Remember, keep your wicks trimmed and your fuel clean. And you always have a nice, clean, bright burn. Yeah, is that right, guys? Absolutely. All right, guys, thanks again so much for contributing. I love reading the comments. I love getting feedback. I love answering all the comments as much as I can. We're at 114 subscribers now, and that's really exciting. I appreciate that. So thanks so much, guys. Take it easy, and we'll see you guys again very soon. All right, bye-bye.